Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about another new mini palette from Too Faced Cosmetics. This is the Christmas Coffee palette. Instead of the typical swatch and review that I do for most of my eyeshadow palette videos, I'm instead going to be comparing this Christmas Coffee palette to the very recently released Forbidden Fruitcake palette. Now, I gave the Forbidden Fruitcake the full Makeup.Just.For.Fun swatch and review process, and honestly, a lot of the information is the same for this palette. The Christmas Coffee palette is priced at $27 US. It's available pretty much everywhere. You can find it on the Too Faced site, Ulta, Sephora, Macy's. They're the same size, they have the same layout. So instead of going over that whole process and giving you basically the exact same information, instead I'm going to compare these two. I've already posted a swatch comparison of these over on my Instagram page. I know I end up saying this in a lot of videos, but definitely go check out Makeup.Just.For.Fun on Instagram because I do put a lot of my swatches and things like that up way sooner. It's just a lot easier to produce an Instagram image versus producing an entire video. So if you want to see this type of thing first, then make sure you're following me over on Instagram too. But in this video, we're going to get down to all the details. First and foremost, let's just start with some finger and brush swatches of this Christmas Coffee palette. Like usual, the finger swatches are on top and then the brush swatches are directly below. All the swatches are done straight onto my bare skin. I don't use any primer, I don't dampen the brush, nothing like that. So let's first start off with a look at the swatches of this Christmas Coffee palette. I think you can tell from these swatches that the performance is really consistent across all of these shades. Both the finger and brush swatches look equally very smooth and opaque, and I think the performance with the brush might even be a little bit better, which is always encouraging for me. Okay, let's get down to the comparison. Let's just start from the outside and work our way in. My biggest criticism of this Fruitcake palette was that the packaging is really gross to me. I think this is so much cuter. I love the little like gingerbread cookie and little coffee. This is just, the packaging is, there's not even a competition. We shouldn't even waste any more time talking about it. I think it's pretty obvious. The Forbidden Fruitcake one looks like barf, and the Christmas Coffee one is super duper adorable. The packaging round definitely goes to Christmas Coffee. As far as the actual palette goes, like the components, all things are created equal. They both have the newly completely square pans as opposed to previous mini palettes that had that one weird rectangle shadow. So when it comes to the actual packaging components, not just the design, these are exactly the same. Looking at these two palettes in the pans, I think it's tempting to say that they're exactly the same. And look, I'm going to show you some swatches here. This is a comparison swatch between Christmas Coffee and Forbidden Fruitcake. Nobody is saying that they're not similar. I think it's pretty obvious that they are very, very, very similar color stories. There are a few noticeable differences, namely, obviously the green shade in the Christmas Coffee palette is just a shimmery metallic green, very pretty. And in the Forbidden Fruitcake palette, the green shade is a green to brown duochrome. I like both of these shadows, and each one of them I do feel are the standout in their respective palettes. A few of these shadows, the colors that are similar have opposite finishes. So this one's a matte, this one's a shimmer. Same with the red. The red in Christmas Coffee is a shimmer. The red in Forbidden Fruitcake is a matte. And I think in a lot of ways, the shades in here would have been very complementary as one big palette. It's been a while since they released a 9-pan palette, but I think this would have been really cute if these shades had been combined into one 9-pan palette. Personally, I would have preferred to just stick with the coffee theme, but I think these are so similar that they would make more sense together. It does seem a little odd to me that these are sold packaged themed very, very differently, but they are so very close in color story. Both of these palettes are scented. The Forbidden Fruitcake has a very slightly spicy sweet type of scent, not quite as strong as the gingerbread palettes. And the Christmas Coffee has a more toned down sweet scent. It's kind of giving me Bath & Body Works candle vibes. Like, this is a Michael's Craft Store, and this is a fall 3-wick candle from Bath & Body Works. If you know, you know. I wouldn't say I really have a preference scent-wise. I am glad to say that the mini palettes seem to have overall a more toned down fragrance compared to the larger palettes and even mini palettes of the past. I always try my best to describe the scent and also the intensity of the scent, because I know a lot of people are sensitive to fragrance or just don't like fragrance in their makeup. So both of these are scented. I don't think they're too strong compared to the Too Faced palettes of yore, but it's still there, and I don't really have a preference one or the other. Since the Forbidden Fruitcake palette got a full in-depth review on my channel, I do want to give the Christmas Coffee its fair shake as well, so I'm going to show you a quick tutorial using this palette for the eye look that I'm wearing today. And while you watch this palette in action, I'll give you a little rundown on my thoughts as far as the formula goes, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. Since this eye look is very straightforward, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the performance of these shadows instead of walking you through the steps of this tutorial. I would say that this Christmas Coffee palette performs equally as well as the Forbidden Fruitcake palette. The mattes are very smooth and blendable. They're not so overly intensely pigmented that it makes them difficult to blend or difficult to work with on the eye, but they still stay true to color and they seem to last for a really long time. Same with the shimmers. They apply very easily, blend smoothly, and they have a great wear time. Often with really shimmery metallic shades, sometimes I'll get them wearing off, especially towards the crease area of my eye, and these seem to stay put even with a decent amount of shade layering. I chose to apply the shimmers just dry onto the lid, but if you want an even more intense metallic look on the eye, you can dampen your brush and get a really super shiny look out of these shimmers. I especially love this Candy Cane Latte red shade. It just gives such a smooth and dimensional look to the lid, and overall I would say I'm incredibly happy with the performance of all of these shadows, and I think that the formula is top notch. Whether you're very well versed with eyeshadow or a beginner, these are going to be easy to use, easy to pair the shades, and overall, any look is going to be simple but beautiful, and I really feel that way about this particular look. It's fun and easy to do. At the end of the day, when I'm comparing these two palettes, it really does come down to some smaller details. Because the formula is consistently really nice across both of these palettes, and because the color story is very similar in these two, it really comes down to little details for me, and I have to say, I do prefer the Christmas Coffee palette. I think the theming is cuter, the packaging is a lot cuter, and whether I want to admit it or not, that is going to play a role in how much I reach for something. I also prefer the layout of this palette. It just looks and feels more intentional and more curated. The way that the shadows are arranged and paired up in this one feels more user-friendly, and it's just overall more pleasing to the eye. Whereas the layout in the Forbidden Fruitcake palette just sort of looks like the leftovers were just plopped into a palette. And I know these are small little picky details, but like I said, these palettes are so similar that that's really what it has to come down to. So I think both are nice. I don't think that you need both. Don't be like me. Don't buy a million repeat shades. But you know, I did it for science. I did it for the greater good so that I could compare them for you. So my preference, my opinion, go with the Christmas Coffee palette. As always, I want to hear what you think about these palettes too. Are you interested in them? Have you picked one up? Are you waiting to see what else comes out for holiday? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! What? Calm down. Okay. Huh? Coffee. Okay. I'm fine. Just like usual, this finger... I got distracted by a shiny thing. What's new? Ooh. Wow. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. I bet that everybody who's reviewing this palette is using that green, and it looks super pretty. I don't blame a single one of them. But I used the green from the Forbidden Fruitcake palette in my look for that one, so I just, you know, wanted to switch it up a little bit. Give it the old switcheroo. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad. I'm playing it. Other words. Nailed it. Ugh, almost dropped it. I want you to know that I painted my nails this awesome green color and I love them so much, and I messed up one finger, and it's my pointer finger on my right hand, and I just keep staring at it and it makes me so upset, but I didn't have time to redo it. What a weird little first world problem. But anyway, it's not that big of a deal. It's just really annoying me. Later I'm gonna have to go and repaint this one nail. Are you like me or are you normal? I hope that you have a beautiful, magical, wonderful day, and if you do not, just know that I love your face very, very, very much, and I hope that I see it here again soon. Okay, bye!